Hey, hi, this is Shondipon here again. So today we will be discussing about a very important topic, and this topic is solely related to economics. We know that at this moment we are facing a real problem, and that is called stagflation. Many of us don't know why the prices of the commodities are rising. Many of we us are blaming the government and everyone around us. But let us know the basics and the real causes of stagflation. So, first of all, we will have to understand what is stagflation. Now, we know about inflation. Definitely, we know about the inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is rise of prices, which has been shown in this diagram. So, rise of prices of any commodities, any kind of commodities that we can see. What is deflation? That is decrease in price. Now we haven't seen that kind of things that where deflation takes place. So deflation doesn't take place commonly. We will be discussing how inflation and deflation are different, and whether deflation is good or not bad, and how inflation is better than deflation. Now over here this is called stagflation. Now we will be dividing this into two parts. One is stagflation and stag and another is inflation. Now what are these two things we will be dividing? Number one, we can see that the GDP or the economic growth is slowing down. So this means that the economy is stagnant. Stagnant means it doesn't grow. So when an economy is stagnant, that is stagnant, and with that the characteristics of this stagflation is there is a high rate on inflation. That is, the price of these commodities are increasing. So from there we get this word stagflation. Now we will be wondering that how can there be so many things, and inflation, how is it different from recession? Because recession is there, we know about recession which took place in 2008. That is the most discussed one. We can see that the recession is most discussed one is 2008 one. So we know about the 2008 one. But what happened during the recession? What is the difference, the common difference, or let's say the biggest difference? The biggest difference is that there is no inflation taking place during the recession. The inflation is somewhat normal, or it is decreasing. So that is the common one. And another point is that the capital market, or what we know as the stock market. So let us just draw. During the capital market just falls rapidly within a month, or two or two or three 2 or 3 weeks. So capital market crashes. What we say that the market has crashed. So that is something which we say that recession has taken place. So that's a very important thing that we have to understand, the difference between the stagflation and recession. Now we will be seeing that what are the real characteristics. Now we can definitely see that there is a low productivity, or the GDP is really low. There is high amount of unemployment, means there are no jobs. If there will not there will be low number of jobs. So from where we will get the cash or the money? From where we will be getting that? There is no real money over here. So if we are not having real money, the PPP, or the purchasing power parity the of the people, will be low. So if the purchasing power parity, or the purchasing power of a person decreases, what will happen? The demand of everything will be low. If we don't have money, we will not be able to sustain in an economy, and we will not be buying the luxury goods. So the demand is low. So there is low demand, there is high unemployment, means there are no jobs, and the productivity is less, or the GDP, and the economy is bad, and there is high inflation. Now this is something which is uncommon. Now we will be understanding the reasons. For that I will be taking you to the whiteboard, or I have actually made it whiteboard. So a very interesting thing that we have to understand is the stagflation which is happening in 2022. 2020, why is it a very important year, and what is causing this stagflation, or what has caused this curve, this stagflation? Many of us will be saying that this COVID has caused everything. But let me tell you, COVID is nothing but a trigger. It's a trigger, or you can say it's a catalyst. So COVID is nothing but it has actually given a trigger to the situation that was going to happen. So it was imminent to happen somewhat the other way in any one of the years, but it took place rapidly just because COVID took place. Now we have to understand how COVID made an impact in this market. First of all, we will have to understand the oil prices. We have already seen that whenever oil prices hiked, oil prices, when the oil prices are jacked up by the international community, and we know that, then everything, the commodities moves up, the price of commodities moves up, and if the commodity prices moves up, there will be less demand, but along with it there is low unemployment rate. So if you see, the unemployment rate is low, unemployment, let's say unemployment, and if there is a low unemployment, the productivity is also low. So low GDP should be accompanied with unemployment. So these are common. But when oil prices have taken a hit, so the inflation is taking place, and if the existing industries, if we say the every kind of industry, for every kind of industries, oil is a very important component. So you will have to understand the importance of oil over here. Many people would say that oil is not one of the factor, because there are many economists who have actually said that oil price is not one of the reasons. But you have to understand the importance of oil prices in international market and also in everywhere. And another thing you will have to see is that everything is interlinked. You see that there is a domino effect which is taking place. What do you know? Your domino means something which is falling. Let's say this is falling, so everything, so the every economy is actually falling one after the other, and they are interlinked. We know about the globalization which is there. So if we are living in globalization, age of globalization, we have to understand that globalization is one of the biggest factor why every economy is interlinked and interconnected. Even if we know that we don't love China, or if we don't love Pakistan, or we don't love even US or Russia, whatever, whichever country we take place, Russia, we are taking some examples, let's say Russia, let's say US, a very big economy, we say China, it's a really big economy. Everyone is connected. We are thinking that one or the other is actually trying to make a race, or we have not taken Europe, EU or European Union. So everyone is interconnected and everyone has been affected. But according to this, now we have to understand what is causing a very big problem. Many of us haven't seen the big giant US, how US is actually decreasing, the power of US has decreased, and how the China's power is emerging out. Now you'll have to see the importance of dollar, and you will also have to see the dollar, yen, yuan. We have to see the yuan. So dollar, the importance of dollar, or let's say the value of dollar has decreased, but the value of yuan has increased. We may see that the difference between $1 is equal to certain yuan, but that is not the real case or the real scenario. If we say about this, if we talk about that, then we will also have to see the Japanese theory of how they are deflating the yen, how Japanese are actually making their yen deflation of a currency. Think about this. Definitely there is also a theory about the deflation, but in this video I'm saying that the devaluation is taking place, and we know that us sorry, so we know that us is a very big us is actually a very big economy. Now if we see economy as such, let's take another thing which is a very important thing, is that bad policy. Now many of we know about this person. Let's take this name. Now nobody loves this person, Nixon. President Nixon was one of the person who was very important person, who was, you can give any curses to this person, because he moved what you known as the gold standard. Now we have to understand the gold standard. Many of you know that we value gold very much. Why do we value gold so much? In every household, gold is something which is a very important component in each and every economy. But if we see in India, this is not, the gold is important in household. Now that acts as a dead asset. That is something which people take pride of. So I will be discussing in one of my videos that how real estate in India is important, and that is something which plays out differently than the real estate across the world. We will be discussing in later videos, but in this video I am saying that gold acts as a dead asset in India, because if we see in India, gold is one of the most highly imported, let's say they say import, high import of gold takes place. So it doesn't help in the economy. That is one of the biggest problem in India. But what about the gold standard I was talking about? So if we see the gold standard, or let's take the example. Now if we want to print money, you will have to print money. Let's say money, this is a bill, let's say this is money. So you need gold for that. Let's say this is a gold bar. Okay, it's a gold bar. So if we have this gold bar, if we have this gold bar, then we can print certain amount of money. This was actually the gold standard which was taking place. But after Nixon, this President Nixon came into place, he was just changing everything. He changed everything. He converted into fiat money. Now what is this fiat money? Fiat money is nothing but this paper money. This paper money is called the fiat money. India is having rupee, US is having dollar, and so many other currencies. So there's fiat money, or we can just print money. That is what we take place. But this the Bretton Woods system of international finance was one of the biggest, you can say that it was one of the biggest flaws, that I really feel that it was one of the biggest flaws, how fiat money was coming into existence and how gold changed and dollar became powerful, because dollar wouldn't have been powerful if gold would have been there, or the gold standard would have been there. Now why am I taking this? Am I blaming US? Now definitely I am not blaming US, but I am saying the problem with the current scenario. Now what happens is that US is such a huge economy and such an important country in the whole world, that people look after this US for each and everything. They can do anything. Now what is happening at this moment is a very important thing, that is Russia and Ukraine war. Now why is it really important to discuss about this Russia Ukraine war? Many of you say that Ukraine is not backed and Ukraine is asking for help. Now you can see how US is actually helping Ukraine by supplying arms. We know that they have got a great history of making people war and giving them arms. So US is actually getting some power, and they are getting some money by selling arms to Ukraine, by giving money to Ukraine. And Russia on the other side is actually playing the power politics over there. So they are actually showing their muscle power. Now this conflict is actually taking, a pseudo conflict is taking place between US and Russia, which has taken place when we have seen Cold War, and from that Cold War situation we have seen how the things have escalated. But a player who has actually silently done their work is China, and we have understood about the trade war which is taking place between US and China. So you can see that US has actually is becoming alone, whereas the other countries like the eastern power, which is controlled by China maximum and Russia, and India is also one of the part, how this global geopolitics is shaping up in stagflation. Now due to COVID, we can see that there has been disruption in supply chain management. Now we know that the cargo ships are there, we know about the delivery system that has been taking place. There are now different restrictions which takes place. So this is one of the biggest point that biggest point which I can actually refer to because of COVID situation. But there has been change in nature of jobs. Now nature of jobs have changed. We will have to understand this thing. When COVID took place, we know about this work from home took place, and there were rise in many kinds of, there were many kinds of jobs which were taking place. Like we knew about data scientists, data analyst, and different jobs which could have been done from home, and now they have been converted. So you can see that real estate real estate prices, real estate was going down. Now if we see just real estate, you can see that there are actually so many things considered with real estate. We can see there are cement, we know about steel. So steel, cement, and so many, then the white collar, the blue collar and white collar jobs of engineers, let's say engineers, let's say workers. So these all are actually connected together. When we see an industry, everything is connected. So that's why I am saying that engineers, they are white collar jobs, and workers, they are blue collar jobs. Now PPP, these are all going down because real estate was not going up. Real estate is something which is a demanding sector, and that was moving down. Why? Because there was change in nature of jobs. Now there is another thing which has happened now, and which is hike in interest rates. Now that is very common which takes place, because many of you would say that if the interest rates are increasing, then what will happen? If the inflation will go down. Inflation. So this is one of the method, you can say that this is one of the method how the repo rates or the interest rates of different countries are increased and inflation are controlled. We say this is controlled. There are different kinds of inflation. There are hyperinflation, there is galloping inflation. One of the inflation which is taking place at this moment is what we call runaway inflation. Now what is this runaway inflation? I'm just writing inflation, okay, INF. Now runaway inflation means that whatever we are earning, let's say, okay, whatever we are earning, this is earning, it is actually the value of this money is actually decreasing. Now how does value of money decreases? Value of money decreases when inflation takes place, and this is why the stagflation is such a, you can say this is a, it acts as a cancer to the economy. Stagflation acts as a cancer to the economy. Now there should be a panacea or the cure to this disease, because everywhere we can see there is health disease, so economic disease, you can say that stagflation can be an economic disease. So what can be the cure? Now it's very difficult to say how it can be cured, but there is need of an emerging economy. Now many of you may not say that, but there is a need of change of economy. We see US as a power. If we see China as a power as of now, then the scenario can be changed. If we shift our products, or let's say our focus from US to China based economy, or let's say our focus is on China, or yuan, let's say yuan. So if yuan is actually bought and the dollar is actually, let's say dollar moves down, the reserves, we are talking about the reserves, let's take about reserves. What happens is that we have got reserves. Now there in reserves, what are there? There is gold, there are currencies, and there are also certain bonds and we say MOUs have been done. So there are different kinds of ways how reserves are actually done. I am taking MOUs because MOUs are very important, memorandum of understandings. So these are taken place between the countries. When we talk about currency, we know everything that dollar is such a huge, important and stable currency in the world. There is dollar, there is also euro. So we will also have to see euro. If euro is also a very stable one, but we know that in European Union there are small countries, and if something goes wrong, it will really be difficult to evolve. So if we see a strong currency as of now, and that is yuan. So yuan is a strong currency in this place. If we consider yuan at this moment, then we can revive from this disease. Now if this consideration is really difficult, because there is actually a tug of war between west and east at this moment, and we can see that between the Russia-Ukraine war. So please comment down in this video below that what you really think at this moment one should do, or one should think at this moment how to come out from this stagflation, because this is very serious issue. What do you really think that after how many years or how many months this will be coming out, this stagflation will be coming out? How can we revive out from this stagflation? Whether this war can end, or when the war will be ending between Russia and Ukraine, then stagflation will be coming out. Please do comment below, because wars are not liked. That's the end of the video. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.